So obviously a relief for Ezekiel Elliott and for the Cowboys there.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, as a veteran in the locker room, this is exactly the outcome that you wanted. You want all of your guys, all hands on deck, to be available. You know, this is an important year for everyone within the Dallas Cowboys organization, from the head coach on down. And obviously, maybe the most important player for the team is going to be available at the start of the season.
So we talked earlier in the show about the kind of conversation you have with a player in this situation if you're in the front office. Does the fact that he isn't being suspended change any part of that message or make it even more difficult to deliver?
No, you have to have a stern, direct, and very hard conversation that your behavior is not acceptable. And even though it didn't rise to the level of a suspension, it's still not conduct becoming of a Dallas Cowboy. And again, if I was in the front office making the decision, I would hit pause on the contract extension, and I would put my efforts and energy into the good players and the players that have handled themselves the right way off the field, starting with the quarterback, Dak Prescott, and their receiver, Amari Cooper. So hopefully it's a lesson learned for Ezekiel Elliott. It doesn't happen again. But if I'm the Dallas Cowboys, I have to have that conversation with him and tell him what we're thinking and why we're thinking it.
Damien?
Again, as a player in the locker room, this is what you wanted to hear.
Yeah.
That he's going to be available, and we can go out here and win some football games.
But, I mean, is there anything to the idea, like he's not being suspended, so you still have to sort of make sure that something is learned from this, right, as a player?
Well, I mean, that's something for the Dallas Cowboys, maybe internally as an organization they want to do, but, you know, for a veteran, don't mess with my money. You know, that's my biggest thing is when you're not there, you affect my play. So let's stay on the straight and narrow so we can go out here and win some football games.
Not that this necessarily ever happened to you, but do you think being called into the commissioner's office, even if it doesn't result in punishment, is enough to get the message across?
It should be like a scared straight, you
Yeah.
know? Like you got to fly all the way to New York to go talk to, you know, Big Bag Roger Goodell. You would think like, okay, all right, maybe let me make sure I'm on the straight and narrow here. So hopefully Ezekiel Elliott has learned from this, and the Dallas Cowboys as an organization can move forward now.
But I think that's the part that there's a lot of people in the NFL community that are surprised about, because that's what happened the last time 2 years ago.
Right.
Got suspended, had to go to the league office, and you would think, especially with the contract on the horizon, that he would really try to be impeccable off the field. But again, hopefully he's learned from it. He can move on and put this behind him.
A lot of expectations for the Cowboys this year. Obviously, this clears the decks in terms of one major concern. They have some contract situations to work through as they head into camp, but you see this as a team that's primed for a real serious run this time?
I think the Dallas Cowboys can represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. I think this team, the way that Dak Prescott played after the trade of Amari Cooper from Oakland, the numbers speak for themselves. I mean, across the board, completion percentage, yards per attempt, you know, third down, all those numbers were significantly better with Amari Cooper, and that's doing a trade during the season. So imagine. Now in the offseason, obviously you got a new offensive coordinator in Kellen Moore. We don't know how that's going to all work out, but you would think that he's going to accentuate all the different aspects of Dak's game. This offense, this team in general, to me, is one of the better teams in the National Football League.
You know, only 3 teams in the league have won more games than the Cowboys have over the last 3 years. That's the Chiefs, the Patriots, and the Steelers. So that's pretty good company.
Yeah, and again, I don't think Dak Prescott gets enough credit. He's 32-16 as a starter. The ultimate measure of a quarterback is his one-loss record. And you go back to last year, he had a passer rating of 122 on play-action plays. So it shows you the importance of Ezekiel Elliott's availability, as you mentioned, Damien. So depending on the health of Carson Wentz, I think Dallas has a really reasonable chance of winning this division. You know, over the last couple of years, Philadelphia has done such a good job of having depth behind Wentz with Nick Foles. Foles isn't there anymore. Nate Sudfeld's going to be their presumptive backup quarterback. So Wentz has to overcome that issue. Can he stay healthy for 16 games? And you look at the way Dallas has built its team on both sides of the ball, that I think they'll be right there with Philly going down the stretch here.
So the NFL has released a statement on this issue regarding Ezekiel Elliott, announcing that he won't be suspended, and it reads like this. Immediately following reports of an incident in Las Vegas in May involving Ezekiel Elliott of the Dallas Cowboys, the NFL conducted a comprehensive investigation that included interviews with multiple witnesses, including security personnel and others with direct involvement, as well as a review of documentary and other information. On Tuesday, as part of the review, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell met with Mr. Elliott to reinforce the standards of conduct expected of him and the consequences for failing to meet those standards. Mr. Elliott acknowledged that he demonstrated poor judgment and committed to make better choices in the future. He volunteered to take advantage of the resources available to him to help him continue to grow personally. Commissioner Goodell determined there was no violation of the personal conduct policy and no further action is warranted. So, statement confirming what we were told. Any quick reactions there?
Got lucky.
He
got lucky.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.